Hello YouTube. So in this video I will continue the last video. So in the last video I tell you how to make a really cool shooting game, but as I said before there is no enemies yet. So now I think we should add our first enemy. So we name this sprite enemy. So for this we'll make a circle, make it red, and make it in the center of the canvas. So this is the right size. So for this you will add block when flag click hide forever wait. So you say pick random from 1 to 5 seconds. Create clone of myself. When I start as a clone, so you show. So in this, so there is two type of spawning. So you can make the clones appear from here and then go into the screen, or you can make it appear at any part of the screen. So now you will you need to duplicate this costume. You sort of change it a bit. So go back into the blocks, switch costume to costume 2. So when flag click, if so so you will name this costume 1 and this costume 2. If costume number equals 2, here this block, if costume number equals 2, then you repeat. So you repeat 10, change size by size, divide by 5, and then you change ghost effect by 10. You So for this you switch costume to no you switch costume to 1. Switch costume to 1. Okay, over here. So you create a clone of yourself, then switch back costume to costume 2, and then delete this clone. Add another if block costume number costume number equals, for example, equals 1. So so this so you sort of so this will be the enemy, and this is just for the spawn animation. So for the enemy you will repeat 10, change change ghost effect by 10. So wait, no, so you set ghost effect to ghost effect to 100, change the ghost effect by minus 10. So with this, okay, so it will create a clone like that. So make this go to a random position, So you will see many cones. You set size to 100%. So so there you can see there are many enemies appearing. So that's the symbol appearing animation. So if costume name equals 1, so you need to wait around from 1 to 3 seconds. Seconds. If costume name equals 1, then you set ghost effect to 100. Repeat 10. Change repeat around like 4. Change ghost effect by minus 25. So you got this. So what? So you change go. So you change your side by 100, like by 100. So you repeat 4. Change goes effect by minus 25. Or you can around like 20, for example, minus 5. So the enemies can slowly appear. Now we want this to glide one side to random position, but a random position within, for example, like pick random size to here you get the X position, you get the Y position, set set so glide one size to X position plus pick random from like minus 15 to 50, and Y is around is around Y position plus pick random from around minus 50 to 50. So you add this forever. So let's see what's happened. So the enemy sort of appear. So it is moving everywhere, but it's a bit slow. So we want to make it like sort of faster. So we change it into if if pick random from 1 to 2 equal equals 1, then like 1 size to minus 15, and from minus 15 to 0, and pick random from minus 15 to 0 for y also, and you add this block, but pick random from 0 to 50, or this also 50. Well well so let's see. So you might notice you don't notice any difference at all. So you sort of change like from exposition plus 30 y y position at 30 into here, and for this glide block glide one side to x position plus random from minus 50 to like minus 30, and for this also. So you see the enemies are moving quite faster. So well, no, I think this doesn't really work. So you just like sort of use this from minus 50 to 50 minus 50 to 50. So if you want the enemies to move faster, you can sort of like minus 100 to 100, minus 100 to 100. So you can see the enemies are moving quite faster. So now, now we need an we need a variable for this sprite only called enemy health for this sprite only. With so if costume name equals 1, put the block right here, set enemy health to around pick random from 10 to 15. So you repeat until enemy health is less than 1. So if enemy health equals 0, then the clone will delete itself. Delete this clone. You add a block if. So you need to add another block here when I start as a clone. If touching, if touching the bullet then change enemy health by minus 1. So now you got this simple script, so let's test it out. So you see the enemy just sort of delete itself, so we want it to sort of like have some cool death animation, like make it explode or something. So sure, let's do that. So instead of putting delete this clone, you like create name this or name this tree. So it will sort of like an explosion. Next you made another this circle smaller, sort of change the color a bit. So you create it sort of like this and and make make the color slightly better, slightly like brighter. So you keep on doing this until you have like an explosion, sort of it looks sort of like an explosion. Okay, so you create an explosion effect sort of like this. So you will go into the code before deleting the clone. You switch costume to 3, create clone of myself, then delete this clone, add it here. So when I start a clone, if clone name equals 3, or here costume name, if costume name equals 3, then you repeat 10. You sort of pick this, copy the code, put it here, and then delete this clone. So we will see it out. So as you can see, they have an exploding animation, but that is quite too big. So use around size size divide by 8, for example. So there is a quite that's still a quite big explosion. So you change it into like 10. So now we will test it out. So that's the correct amount. So after that, we need to give our enemies something to attack us. So I was thinking, what if our enemies can shoot like rockets at us? So we create another costume called name form. So you sort of create a rocket, you make it like this, move it here. Now you like sort of create a square, delete one corner, turn it, and then put it here. So after that, you will create something like this. It's just for the it's just for the look, and it doesn't really do anything. So the rocket is a bit long, you switch it to like this. So after you've drawn the rocket, you need to draw like some sort of fire for it. So you will create a square. So you sort of change it a bit. So now you've got this, you need to make some sort of like um proportion. So you create another square. This time delete one of the corners. You delete the corners, you move into this direction, then move into center, make it sort of smaller. Okay, so you switch it to this, set the color to around 17, which is the perfect color for yellow. This, okay, so you drag it like this, you have a sort of, so it looks like the rocket is flying forward. So now you glide like, so you create and go into this, you switch costume to 4, create a clone of myself, switch back the costume, switch back the costume to switch back the costume to 1. So we make another script. If costume number equals 2, then then point toward point towards player. So you repeat until touching edge or touching player. Touching player point toward. So you point towards player, move 10 steps. So wait. So so it should the rocket should be around this size, or if it is too big, then the player will not be able to dodge it. Now move 10 steps, then you sort of switch costume to 3, create clone of myself, delete this clone. So you set size to 50. So there is something glitching. So here, if costume number equals 4, I forgot. So yeah, so now it should work fine. Okay, so you got yourself the exploding. So you got yourself some rockets. So after this, all you need to add is some variables. So the most important variable is health, or you can say HP, for example. You move it to the corner of the screen. One flag click, set HP to 100. Now you go into this part when if costume name equals 3. Use add if touching player. If touching player, then change health by change HP by -1. So you can see our enemies here. It shoot us and we got like 10 health. So that's a bit. So you switch into around minus 0.5 health, for example. So you lost 5 health every time you got shot by a rocket. Now, now there need to be something for our player to do so they can regain their health. So you see, switch code to number 3, create color myself. So if if you add this here, so it detects if the enemy is dead, then the player will regain some health. So you sort of change health by around 5 or 10. So you can see here you lost your health. You just need to kill some enemies, and then you got around you got like this much health, more than 100. So we would like to cap the health at around at 100. So you add this script, go to player, one flag click forever. If health is larger than 100, if HP is larger than 100, set HP to 100. So here, if we kill our enemy, our health still stays 100. So that's basically everything we need to do. And also I think we need some more weapons for our player. So we sort of make like a grenade or bomb. So for this you add like a small square. I like the color blue. So you make it go to the player. So when flag click forever, go to player, turn 15 degrees. So it sort of creates like a cool spinning effect. Or you can like make it bigger, for example. However, it will cover our player. So we need to set ghost effect to 50. Okay, so you got this cool spinning effect, or like you can turn like 30 degrees. Okay, so this is a bit too fast. You change it into 15 degrees. So that's the perfect. So after that, so we want to throw our grenade or bomb by pressing E. So if key E press, then point towards mouse pointer, move. Wait, no. So we name a variable named throw, set. Wait, no. So like this, 10. If key press set throw to 10, 10, then repeat 10. Change throw by -1. Move throw steps. Okay, so it's still a short distance, so you want it bigger distance. So so you sort of do it like this, about 20, set row to 20. Okay, so that's a bit too far. You said around 50. Repeat 50. So this is the correct, this is the right amount. So you repeat 15, change size by around -5, for example. Well, that's a bit that's a bit small, so you change size by -1, for example. Okay, so now we need to make an exploding animation for our bomb. So we go straight into here, copy, and then create and then paste it in directly into here. So when flat click, switch costume to 1. Then you if throw repeat 5, 5. Now you switch costume to 2. Switch costume to 2. You repeat 10. So you come to 2, repeat 10. Change size by size divided by 5, and change ghost effect by around like 10. After that, you you set ghost effect to 0. You switch costume back to costume 1, and then you like hide for around hide for around like 2 seconds. 2 seconds cooldown. You hide for 2 seconds, and then you show again. So what? So okay. Make sure to add about set size to 100%. So also, you should add when flag click show. Okay, so we add this. There's an explosion animation. So as you can see, this is working fine. However, the explosion is kind of big, so you change it into like divided by 8. You repeat around 20, size by 10, size divided by 10. So you check this. Okay, so it should work like this. So the explosion is kind of big, so you switch into divided by 8. So that's the correct amount. However, when you see like the first throw we got is sort of like kind of fast, but from the second throw on, it is kind of smooth. So I think we need to fix this. So when E presses size to 100%, Set throw to 15. Point towards mouse pointer. Move throw steps. Change rope by 1. Change size by -1. Then you switch costume to 2. Set size to 100%. Change size divided by 8. Change ghost effect by like 5. Okay, so oh, I think I find the problem with our code. So you add this, so you set ghost effect to 0. However, the explosion is still kind of like slow. So you repeat only 10 size divided by 8 or around by 10. You change the ghost effect by 10. So you sort of change the explosion a bit, around 6 size divided by 6. So the explosion is big, you change it into 7, for example, or 8. So this is the correct amount that we want. Now we now our bomb doesn't deal any damage to the enemy yet. So we add this block when I start as a clone. However, if touching bomb, if touching bomb, then you change enemy health by minus 0.5 and you change it into less than 0.5. Okay, so we see. So I'll be only throwing the bomb. So you can see our enemy does die because of the bomb because it is taking damage. So that's a good thing. And the last thing you can see that there is a quite too many enemies. So you sort of like wait, pick random from 5 to 10 seconds. Now let's see. Or you can add like only 5 seconds. So you can see here, this our enemy. Or you can like you can repeat like instead of moving throw step, I think we should delete the throw variable. Delete the throw variable. Repeat 15. Move. So when so if you keep moving our mouse, then the value of a mouse will be constantly changing. So you will need to make an Alt X or like mouse X, mouse Y. So you set mouse X, set mouse Y. Set mouse X to mouse X, set mouse Y to mouse Y. So you sort of make like mouse. So you usually need to make like a really small dot, move into the center, one flat click. forever. Go to mouse pointer. Um, so you can sort of. Okay, so what do we have here? So the we need the x and y of this mouse. So you sort of okay make re-add the throw variable. You like so set throw to 1. Go here if throw equals 0. Then go to mouse pointer. Else then else then you do nothing. Okay, so at the if block, if throw equals 1, go to mouse pointer. Now set throw to 1. 1. Repeat. So instead of saying repeat, you repeat until touching the mouse. Until touching mouse, move move to distance to the mouse mm, divided by like 3. So it will be sort of like this, or you can like mine by divided by 10. However, you need to set throw to 0 after this. Set throw to 0. So if you add it out of this, switch it to here. Now you should change the ghost effect. No, set ghost effect to 100. Set ghost effect to 100. So that's all for this video. So we've add the weapon, we add the enemies, the weapon of the enemies. So that's all for this video. So in the next video, I will tell you how to add like sound effects and all the weapons. So that's all for this video.